I remember the day my relationship almost ended. I was in my office, I was pacing back and forth, and I was just staring blankly at the walls that were always the same color, but just staring. That same day, I had just communicated with another couple on what it takes to be in a relationship, what it takes to work out through communication problems, and that winning is never the goal. It's usually about understanding. But I thought it was so funny because in my own life, I wasn't applying that. My marriage was crumbling. And I was just done pretending. If you made it this far into the video, I want to say, hey, I am Sia the Transparent Therapist, and I'm coaching women to help heal from their past wounds and stress so that they can have longer lasting relationships. If this sounds like something that you are into, please hit that subscribe button, turn on the post notification bell because you don't ever want to miss any video because we are up leveling your life so you can have that relationship you desire with yourself and God this year. You can also download your very own ebook guide called Cure My Anxiety, Lord. It's in the description. And that walks through steps and scriptures for healing the wounds that you might have and the anxiety you might have that you don't necessarily know how to approach. So that night, I had placed the divorce papers on the table and my heart was racing. My hands were so sweaty and my mind was made up. I couldn't do it anymore. I didn't want to do any more silent dinners. I didn't want to walk on eggshells anymore. I just wanted to feel alive and not alone in a house full of people. But life and God was not done with me yet. 1 week later, after giving my husband these papers, in the middle of the day, I swung my legs off the couch and I could not walk. My whole intention of getting off the couch was to grab my kids some snacks, and I collapsed. Only one of my legs were moving at the time. When I say panic shot through my whole entire body, panic shot through my whole entire body. I think my husband could hear the thud on the ground, so he came rushing, and I couldn't even lift myself up to reach him. So he pulled me up. And he was just like, what's going on? And I'm like, I'm stuck. I felt so trapped in my own body. It's like if you've ever had sleep paralysis and you can see everything going on, but you can't move. Well, that was me in real time. And ironically, I was trapped in my own body, but felt like I was trapped in my own pain for years as well. The doctors had called it hemiplegia, okay? And that's why my body literally shut down. It was all the stress and trauma that I've been carrying throughout the years. Now, hemiplegia usually means that you have like some migraine sometimes and the whole entire or you can have a migraine and then the whole entire side of your body kind of shuts down. I remember going to the doctor and she's saying, okay, I'm going to do, I forget the name of the test, right? But I'm going to rub this along your feet. Tell me if you feel anything. She did it. I didn't feel nothing. My foot didn't even arch or like reflex. It was like a reflex test. And I remember her saying, and she had an intern at the room at the time and she looked up at him and I knew that look. I said, lady, I didn't say this, but I want to be like, what's going on? You know, I was really thinking like, wow, what is happening to me? And so the neurologist basically said it's hemiplegia. And typically too, as I did more research, I realized that there was so much stored stress and trauma in my life that I never really addressed that just began the onset of it. I had been killing me from the inside out without addressing it. I was supposed to be the expert. I knew trauma. I taught people how to heal from it. And yet, my own pain turned against me in the most brutal way possible. Because if y'all have watched my other video, I told you I love dancing. My feet mean everything to me. Walking, running, dancing, moving my body, it means a form of expression for me. And for a part of me to be shut down, it felt hard. So there I was in the wheelchair at the hospital being taken care of the same man who I was ready to leave. Okay. And then I realized something. The real enemy was not him, it was the ghost I had refused to face at that time. It was a trauma I carried into every single conversation that we had. It was the unresolved wounds that I refused to dress that existed for so long in our relationship. So let me tell you about the one scripture that changed it all for me. So in this marriage, I had a choice. I could keep running from the pain that I was experiencing with my husband, or I could simply face it. And in my studying, that's when I stumbled upon a scripture. The scripture I stumbled upon was James 1-4. Count it all as joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds, for you know the testing of your faith produces steadfastness. And let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. Okay? That's James 1:2-4. When I read this, I was like, I laughed and I said, God, joy, joy, joy. And then it hit me, right? The fights my husband and I were experiencing, the misunderstandings, the falling of our relationship, they weren't proof that we weren't working. It was just revealing to me that there was something unhealed. The struggles that we were going through were not a punishment. It was just a process to get us from here to here ahead. Okay? It helped refine us, right? The whole purpose was to just break away from some of the patterns that we were having so that we could learn from them. But I was hindering us. I was stopping us from doing that because I kept seeing every trial as like a failure, right? But we know that through trial builds character, hope, perseverance. The scripture tells us the whole reason, right? Christ had us going through these things because he wanted us to be steadfast in him, right? He didn't want us to give up because in our steadfastness, we would have been made perfect and complete. But for me, it's like, no, everything needs to be perfect and complete first. And that's not the way God designed the order of our relationship to go, or any relationship or experience sometimes. He wants you to have this steadfastness so that therefore you can become complete. He needs you to need him so that therefore you can become complete. And that's what I was lacking the entire time. And this scripture really highlighted that for me. I was trying so hard to escape the hard times that I never allowed for it to transform me at all. So when I stopped running, I went to therapy. I became the patient, not the expert. And that's when I started to see things unfold and reveal in my life. I learned that the conflict that we were experiencing was not something to fear, but to grow on and face. Face your fears, right? And it's so funny because me as the expert, I'm telling my clients this all the time, but I'm not taking it in because there was a blockage, right? There was a blockage where I was probably at the time too, not even really reaching for my word or praying so much. I was just so stuck in my anger and frustration. But it wasn't until I got into my word, saw like, oh, hold on, things are not going to always be easy. Sometimes we will have to ride that wave. And then realizing, okay, I need help. I need someone to help me. And then going into therapy as the patient, not the expert, that helped to put things into perspective for me. So let me tell you, and I'm gonna be real, it wasn't easy for me. Some days were harder than most. It's not like the conflict stopped. It's not like the fight stopped automatically, but it helped me to lean more into the word and more principles that would move us through some of these hard times. And from there, I started to see a shift, not just in my relationship, but in myself as well. Because today, we still have disagreements, but now we know how to handle them a little bit more appropriately. And let me tell you, being married to a therapist is not always easy. And if you find anyone that has a therapist as a partner, they might say that because you on the opposing end is like, hey, I don't want you to therapize me, but really we're just like, hey, we know this stuff, but because you're hearing it from us, you just might take it as a criticism. And then for me, it's like I probably had so much pride in myself. It's just like, I can make this work instead of leaning on God, right? I was leaning on my knowledge. So now we don't avoid the fire. We just use it to refine us. And that's why our bond is stronger than ever. Stronger than ever at this point. Thank God, right? For the fires. If you're in the middle of a relationship and you feel like you're about to break, don't let it break you. Instead, I need you to ask yourself, what is this trial trying to produce in me or in this relationship? Because if you let it, it's going to build a love that is unshakable. Now, I want to hear from you, okay? I want you to tell me in the comment section below what scripture has changed your life in any way. Your life, your relationship, your friendships. And if you haven't already, go ahead and download your free ebook guide, Cure My Anxiety Lord. Use the code YouTube at checkout so that you can get it for free. Okay? Merry Christmas, Happy Valentine's Day, Happy Birthday for free. It's a gift from me to you. Okay? All right, y'all. Make sure you drop the comment in the comment section below because I really love hearing scriptures that were transformative for you. Walk good, keep the vibe high, and I will see you in the next video. So click the next video because trust me, it's going to be so helpful. Bye.